I just came out of the movie theater from watching Demon Slayer, and I feel scammed. Now, maybe the feeling is fair or maybe not, but I wasn't alone. Talking to a few others at the movie theater, they weren't happy either, and I sincerely hope this doesn't become a trend with anime in the future. But what am I even talking about? Let's start from the beginning. At the end of last year, Demon Slayer announced the world tour, premiering the new season in select movie theaters across the world. I will now directly quote what they said regarding their first event. This was the North American premiere of Demon Slayer Kimetsu no Yaiba to the Swordsmith Village, a feature-length cut of episode 10 and 11 of Entertainment District Arc, and the extended episode 1 of the highly anticipated Swordsmith Village arc in 4K with remastered audio. Now, before we even get into what this means, I will say that a lot of people were disappointed they had to watch 2 episodes they had already seen on Crunchyroll in their homes. But to be fair, they did try to warn people that that's what was gonna happen. In their defense, the word cut here seems a bit strong for what was actually done, but more on that later. The truth is, the mainstream public is not going to read these announcements. The mainstream public is going to see this poster and they're gonna say, wow, Demon Slayer in movie theaters? And they're gonna think back to Mugen Train, which was the last time they experienced that. And I really think that Aniplex, Crunchyroll, and everyone involved knew this, and they are definitely taking advantage of it. So that's where the scam kinda starts. Can we really call it a scam? No. But it's definitely scummy. Still, even knowing that I was about to rewatch the Entertainment District, I did not expect the level of laziness that went into this movie theater adaptation. Let me break it down for you, and no, there will be no spoilers for Swordsmith Village. It will premiere on April 9th, so you don't have to wait long to see it. I will, however, undo some of that clickbait. It's now 1 hour long, it's 45 minutes. But that's besides the point. If it is 1 hour, you're gonna watch a lot more than I just did. So here we go. Let's put a clock right here. It was 9 p.m. when the movie began. Movie? I can't really call it a movie. It was 9 p.m. when the experience began. And it starts unlike anything else I've ever experienced in a movie theater. Now, I don't know how it works where you live, but where I live, things go like this. Before the movie starts, they have some advertisements, followed by some movie trailers for upcoming movies, and then we get the warning to turn off your phones and don't take pictures. And then the movie itself starts. Except this time, we got another ad. And it was an ad for an upcoming anime coming to Crunchyroll. It's not this one. I couldn't find a real thing. It was something about a door. Anyway, here's what I think happened. Crunchyroll is one of the license holders for Demon Slayer. So this ad by Crunchyroll is actually part of the movie. Sorry, it's actually part of the experience. They put an ad before anything started so they could show you an ad without having to pay for the ad space. It's genius! And as soon as the movie itself begins, I see 2 black bars on the side because, of course, they did zero work to adapt this to movie theaters. They said the footage would be 4K remastered, and you know, probably it was. It didn't look 1080p to me, but the thing is, this is usually the movie resolution. If you just stick a 16:9 video in there, it's gonna look like this. And it did, for the whole duration of the experience. But who cares? You get used to the black bars at some point, you just ignore them and focus in the middle. Now, to make this work for a casual viewer who might just walk into the movie theater not knowing what is a Demon Slayer, they have a little story recap at the beginning with a snowy background and a text going by really fast saying, yo, Tanjiro used to gather some coal, but then the whole family died except the sister. She became a demon instead. So Tanjiro chose this path to become a Demon Slayer. What? The sister became a demon and he wants to kill her? And after the text recap, we get the song for the first season. Boku wo subete susume. And while the song is playing, you have a visual recap of season 1. They cut the whole thing into just 1 minute 30. And after the whole thing is done, the Mugen Train music begins. Not the music from the movie, the intro from the anime, the Okay, I'm done singing, I promise. And once again, a recap of the Mugen Train. And finally, it was time for the Entertainment District music. Damn it, I promised! And this time the recap actually had some voice lines. They go through the whole season until Inosuke gets stabbed in the chest, and from this point on, text pops up saying episode 10. It is 9:05 p.m, we're finally gonna start watching this episode. Until 40 seconds later, the intro plays. We have just been through 5 minutes of AMV and recaps, and just when it seemed like we were finally gonna get into some story, here's the intro. Wow. Now, I like the intro, but it just felt super out of place. It really surprised me how little work was done to port this into movie theaters, and we were not anywhere near done. Oh boy, I was about to get surprised a whole lot more. Episode 10 gets going. It's shot for shot the same thing you've watched before. Gyutaro is toying with Tanjiro, asking him if he wants to become a demon. Tanjiro running away until he finds an opening, stabbing him with a poison kunai and delivering that crazy headbutt that leaves Gyutaro super dizzy. And just as he is cutting Gyutaro's head, we go into a break. Just like the anime, they kept the splash screens they used to go on breaks. If you went through the trouble of remastering the audio and upscaling these 2 episodes to 4K, couldn't you just do a little cutting? Just a little cutting. Just a better cut. You probably remember how the rest of the episode went, but a quick recap. Tengen finishes the musical score, they turn things around on Gyutaro, Zenitsu uses Godspeed to cut Taki's head, but can't do it until Inosuke joins up with him to help. Zenitsu, Inosuke, and Tanjiro yell a lot, Taki's head is cut, Gyutaro's head too, both heads fly and fall rolling on the floor until they look at each other in the eye. At which point we see Tanjiro completely exhausted and gasping for air when he sees Tengen yelling in his direction, but he can't move, and then an explosion engulfs the entire entertainment district. Credits roll as the explosion subsides, in a sequence that lasts for almost 2 minutes. They didn't even cut the credits from this episode. The scene hit really hard when I first watched it. It was the culmination of 10 episodes of like a really fierce battle. I thought it was brilliant, but now we're only 30 minutes into a 2-hour experience. Why are we watching credits? Anyway, after the credits roll, it's time for episode 11. Do you remember how episode 11 starts? Zenitsu, Inosuke, and Tanjiro yell a lot. Daki's head is cut, Gyutaro's head too. Both heads fly and fall, rolling on the floor until they look at each other in the eye. At which point we see Tanjiro completely exhausted and gasping for air. He sees Tengen yelling in his direction but can't really move, and then an explosion engulfs the entire entertainment district. We just watched this thing! What are we doing? They kept the recap for something we watched 2 minutes ago! Anyway, episode 11 plays in full. I'll recap the end of this episode because it will be important. After you finish the fight, everything cools down and we see Kagaya coughing blood, saying finally, we killed one of the upper moons. Things will finally change. Then we see Akaza in the Infinity Castle. He's been summoned because an upper moon has fallen. And we see Tengen walking off the battle, carried by his wives, and we see the boys hugging each other after such a long battle. Episode over, credits roll. For a whole 2 minutes. If you're keeping count, yes, this is the second time the credits have rolled. The end. It has been an hour, but it's finally time, boys. Here we go. Black screen. Aniplex presents. Okay, a Ufotable production. Alright, man. And Kagaya is coughing blood, but he's happy because things are about to change. And Akaza has been summoned to the Infinity Castle, and Tengen walks off with his wives, and Tanjiro and his friends are hugging. There's a whole 2 to 3 minutes of recap of the stuff we just watched again. And this recap is absolutely fine in the show. It's been months since season 2. I bet if I watched this in the first episode of season 3, I would be like, oh yeah, nice reminder. Thanks for that. I forgot. But doing this in the movie theater where you just showed this stuff, come on. Now, to be fair, Akaza does have a scene in the Infinity Castle that was not present in season 2. You'll see it once the anime premieres, but that was probably the best experience in the movie theater. There are things the anime can do with the Infinity Castle that the manga simply cannot. And seeing that on the big screen was really cool. I have to give them that. But we're not gonna spoil the episode, so I'll say that 45 minutes later, the episode was over, credits rolled. I did not stay until the end of the credits. It's the 3rd time credits are rolling at this point, so I don't know if there's anything at the end, but I'll find out when the anime premieres, because clearly, they did not bother making anything new for the movie theater version. So to recap, 1 hour of stuff we've seen before, not recut in any special way, no new scenes, not even removing credits or recaps in between episodes, and then 45 minutes of the new episode. Ladies and gentlemen, this is the Electronic Arts of anime. You know how sometimes you have the option to pay extra for a video game? You buy the Ultimate Edition and all you get is you play the video game 3 days early? Well, that's what this was. And it sucks. I'm not saying the episode was bad. I liked it a lot. But it also doesn't work as a movie theater experience. I mean, what do you think happened? Imagine the first 2 episodes of the Entertainment District were a movie theater experience. Nothing happens there. It's setting up a new arc. It's introducing new characters. It's doing the groundwork that establishes a whole season. But there's no climax, there's no natural ending to it. I basically paid for the privilege of having to wait 2 extra weeks for episode 2. That's what I did. And when I saw this announcement, saw that they were doing this right off the heels of the most successful anime movie ever made, I thought there's no way they're just doing the anime, right? There's gotta be something special there. They have to have worked, like they've made so much money from Mugen Train. Absolutely not. Is it fair to call it a scam? Maybe not. They were transparent about what they were gonna show, even if they did it in a way that most people wouldn't see the announcement anyway, but even I, having read that, was expecting a little bit more. I mean, this movie ticket, which is basically to watch one new episode of Demon Slayer 2 weeks ahead of time, costs almost as much as a full month on Crunchyroll. And I had to buy 2 tickets because I'm not going to the movie theater alone, so screw me, I guess. Anyway, I hope this doesn't become a new standard in anime. I think it was way too expensive for what it was, but at the same time, I just had to know for sure. I just had to let you know. That's what you missed if you didn't catch the world tour or if it didn't reach wherever you live. You missed nothing. You'll see the same episode that I just did in about 2 weeks' time when the anime comes back. Very excited for that. It's gonna be a good one. But this movie wasn't it. Oh, sorry, experience. Hopefully the anime returning means the game's hype will be revived and we get a sequel announced, huh? But for now, we have a community balance mod to keep the competitive scene alive. Rui is a bit of a problem though, as you can see in this video right here. Thanks for watching. Bye.